Yeah.
it out. So now,
So my goal
big
this year was to get a lot of things bound, and that hasn't happened.
Well, I do binding my machine because I tolerate like things not being perfect.
Yeah.
And I can't do any handwork. I wish I could, but because I still have an open workman's comp case. I can't do anything because I have all these pain in my elbows, and any handwork makes my elbows hurt.
Really?
So that's why I try to get, and Lorena helps me a lot. My other girlfriends cut things out for me because of overuse of the rotary cutter, and Jill has cut out for me endlessly. So I've relied a lot on my friends, and so Mama would finish our bindings, and
It's very sweet.
yeah.
My mom and I did crafts all the time. She passed away about 10 years ago, and we always joked because I never ripped anything out growing up, and I was just like, go ask Grandma. Like, I'm not gonna. So if I had a child, which I did, that I was not. But I've learned to rip out now that she's gone. But
I like to rip
very
out.
Sad. You like
I
to
like
rip
the
out?
process of ripping out.
I do too. I do too. I say my seam ripper's my BFF, but Jill showed me a trick to ripping out not too long ago, and I use it all the time now. It's great. It's so much faster.
Where you use that little ball right there, and you put it. See how that's coming out?
Interesting.
Without having to. That's actually how it's supposed to be used.
Really?
I used to pick out like
But
every
again,
fourth
I'm
stitch.
left-handed, so it's kind of hard to
Yeah.
show. But
It's much easier.
I'm just doing it like this.
And you're sticking the ball in where the.
I'm just right
That's
there.
right.
There's a blade right between
Yeah.
there.
Interesting. Okay, well, I'll try that. Maybe it'll make it more fun.
That's great.
One thing that we skipped, if I can go back,
Yeah, sure.
when we were talking about our two parts of the family
Yeah.
and do we get together, and we have that maybe a meeting in here, but each side does have a quilt retreat each year. And so Ruby's Remnants, we have a quilt retreat in June, and the other side, they have one in October, but they also have a couple where they go to like a family member's lake house, and they have like a sewing weekend.
And what do you do at the retreat?
Oh my goodness!
Well, first we have our shop hop.
Yeah,
And
our
our
group.
Retreat
Our
and
group.
shop hop.
Yeah. And Lynn, who loves to travel, she organizes that part. She does all this research. She figures out if it's going to be an overnight, where we're going to stay. This last time when we went to Branson, she got us free hotel rooms. It's just
With her husband's
wonderful.
points.
That's
With her
really
husband's points, yeah. And so she organizes that part.
And how many of them are you when you go?
Well, in our
It
group,
varies.
there's some that work and don't take off, and so maybe they don't. Our shop hop usually is on a Wednesday. We retreat from like Thursday afternoon to, we've extended it like through Tuesday. We made it longer, but actually, there's people coming and going the whole time. There's a couple who don't come until Friday after work. There's some that have to leave Sunday night. This year, our two matriarchs, our two aunts, they couldn't come. They came for like a day trip. One of our uncles is
They were day campers.
in not in good shape, and they couldn't leave him, so
Well,
they
so
brought him over.
When
and
Mama was alive, there would be like, 9 of us?
Yes, there's usually about 9. Because if I get 10 to come, I get to go free, and I have yet to reach 10.
Why do you get to go free?
Because that's just the setup she has. Like the
Got it.
You know, if you
coordinator
organize
can-
groups.
So if,
Coordinator,
yeah,
that's right.
the coordinator can go for free, and
Yeah.
it's always 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jill organizes that part. I'm in charge of edutainment.
Okay.
And so I organize the games, and I organize like one little like sort of a mini class for an afternoon. And this year I was so excited because one of our other cousins did a class as well, and she showed this technique that she wanted everybody to learn. And another cousin organizes a pattern exchange, which we have to tell you about because that relates to copyright.
Yeah.
And what else do we do, Jill? Oh, and our the hostess, the quilt retreat place that we go to now, is also a massage therapist. So we get massages.
So all
It's
9
fabulous.
of us
That's so
get
great.
massages.
Now, do you go to the same place each time now, or do you move around? Does it move around?
We We started with a place near Bartlesville, and it was called Brenda's Red Barn. And she stopped having retreats after about the first, I think we went there 3 years. And since then, we've gone to the Hen House on Chicken Creek. That's the name of it. And we have gone there, I think, 4 years.
Yeah.
So, and
the massages is a big feature.
Yes, it is.
And she cooks for us.
Yes, I was going to say the hostess cooks for us. And if she's not available, her husband cooks for us. At first she worked full time, but she worked nights. She's a nurse, but now she's retired. And anyway, she's great. We love it. The setup that she has at the retreat is great. But we just sew all weekend, or almost a week, however long it is.
And
5 days.
When our mother was alive, on Sundays, the 3 sisters would sing. They would harmonize like they did when they were girls. And everybody else through the church has always sung too.
We all sing.
Well, we all sing, but it was great because it was just like,
That was really cool.
it was a wonderful little thing. And so what else when we play games at night. So that's fun.
We play quilt bingo.
We play quilt bingo, and we bring prizes. Everybody brings things to contribute to
Tell me about
prizes.
Quilt bingo.
Oh, it's so funny. We it's a thing that I found years ago, and it was a free download from Fons and Porter. And my niece Becky printed out the clues on cardstock, and you play with buttons on these squares that Jill and Lynn and I made. Well, the problem was we made the squares before we looked at what all the clues were.
Well, so it's patches. It's like a B-I-N-G-O.
It's like
a 25 patch.
Yeah.
And so instead of B-I-N-G-O, you have 30s fabric or
Well, it's organized by colors.
Yeah.
Yes. Novelty or paisley or polka dot or stripe,
Right.
geometric. And, the interesting thing that all these years, some people still can't remember what a geometric is or playing with the same cards every year. But Judy's right. We made the cards without really knowing what categories there were. And so some of them fit multiple categories, and some of them hardly fit a category at all.
Yeah.
So it always leads to cheating and
arguing.
That's so funny.
And hysterical laughing.
Yes,
and
yes.
jokes that we have maintained for years.
Yes.
Like the time Aunt Jimmy
No, Aunt Billy.
Billy.
What's a paisley? What's a paisley?
Yeah. And Aunt Jimmy says, "It's like a sperm."
So we have to have that come up every year.
Yeah, it's a sperm.
It's really lovely.
Yeah. But I wanted to mention the retreats.
That's really great.
And
Yeah, because it's fun.
the cousin who had to buy a sewing machine to participate, who now has a long arm, she and her husband are currently in the process of purchasing a house to make a quilt retreat.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it'll be like 20 miles from our house.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty
So I can't wait to
interesting.
see where that
Yes.
goes.
Yes. And you know how contagious quilting and sewing is, right?
It is.
So Aunt Jimmy has 5 daughters.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so 2 of them, the 2 oldest ones, Lynn and Kelly, have always come to the retreats. Lynn's the one that organizes the shop hops. And her twin youngest daughters have recently taken up sewing and quilting, but they've never come to a retreat yet, but they sort of want to, I think. Don't you think so,
Yeah,
Jill?
I think so.
And the middle daughter, whose name is Tracy, never had the slightest interest in it. She is a voice and music teacher and lived in Oklahoma. She recently sort of moved back to Oklahoma City, so they were in Colorado for years. So anyway, she's closer now. Decided she wanted to come to the retreat for the first time this year, but she was going to bring her beading supplies and make jewelry. Okay, great. Bring your jewelry stuff. So she arrives with all this stuff. And on our shop hop,
It's the shopping.
I asked her.
Shopping gets
Yes,
you every time,
yes, during
right?
the shop hop, I said, and she's a hilarious person, and we knew we would just, we would have a lot of laughs with her along, and I asked her, and she said she was open to sewing. So we asked, and quick, her mom sent a machine over for her to sew on, and the first morning, she and I both are early risers. We get up about 5:30 in the morning, and she would like to sew clothing. She's a fashionista, right? Within a couple of hours, I had showed her how to use the machine, and she got it. And it was so much fun because as an educator, she knew her style of learning really well. And it was the first time I had taught somebody who really could say, stop, you're overwhelming me. I need to process that.
Right.
She could really tell me how she was learning it as we went along. And that was kind of fascinating. But it was just so much fun because an adult, we were close as children, even though our age difference. But it was the first time we really got to spend time as an adult
Really cool.
together. And so she made a shirt. I made the same shirt. We both made shirts. She didn't really like it. She has like a boho style. But we talked a whole lot about fabric and draping and all this stuff. And so it was a great experience. By the end of the time, everybody was giving her advice how to go buy a sewing machine, right? So she's going to go buy a sewing machine. So, and so one day, not long after that, I sent her a text message and I said, I think you should just let a sewing machine come to you. I said, tell your voice students maybe that you're looking for a sewing machine. I said, don't go out and buy anything, but just wait and see what happens, and just put the word out you're looking for a sewing machine. And lo and behold, in a few days, we get this text message. She has remembered that she has a sewing machine in her attic that Mammy gave her. And it's the only thing she got out of Mammy's estate as a sewing machine, and so she's already got one.
That's so great.
So it was like a sign
That's really great.
that she should be sewing.
That's really
Like the rest of us, she had a machine from our grandmother.
So she brought it downstairs.
Uh-huh.
She brought it downstairs, and she brought it to Kawita, to her mama, and her mama had it running in just a little bit. And I talked to her a couple weeks ago. She's still sewing, still making stuff. She's bought a serger.
She took a class from Julie.
Yeah.
She went over and Julie
Yeah.
showed her a whole bunch
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah.
It's really great.
Julie showed her, I think, how to use a serger too. So yeah.
All right, so sharing. So, you also, before we get to that, you work at the quilt shop now.
Yes. I had always told my friend Denise Taylor at Mason Quilt Shop that when I retired, I would come help her. I had worked at the shop hops when she needs a whole bunch of people to help her, and I really had fun helping the customers and everything. So the week after I retired, I started going there on Thursdays because that was the day she needed somebody regularly. And it has been a great experience. And I've learned that I sort of have the gift of sales. I really enjoy
do.
helping people. And I can tell, kind of sometimes what they want and show them things. And that's rewarding, If you like this, maybe you'll like this. Or, here's the other fabric in that line. And, so that's really fun. And, of course, seeing all the new fabric as it comes in and helping Denise and being with the other women that work there. And of course, we get paid in fabric. So I have way too much stuff. I have gotten a lot of stuff from there for our retreats,
That's cool.
like the prizes and stuff. So that's been real. And Denise donates stuff to our retreats. She's the most generous person. So that's been really fun. And I've really learned a lot being there about the business, about fabric, about how she orders fabric, seeing that whole process, meeting the reps and different lines. And
Very cool.
yeah, so I've learned a lot. It's been great.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then sort of copyright. So where does law fit in? Now, obviously there's not just copyright, but patents fits in because there's all kinds of, gadgets that people make.
Mhm,
And there's
mhm.
techniques which aren't really patentable.